got this welder right here, which I know I've mentioned before, but I finally got some TIG stuff for it. And I was gonna make a video showing me getting that, I guess. And I filmed some of it, but it didn't work out. So what I'm gonna do is learn some TIG today. Now I've been practicing, I've had a handful of pieces and parts that I've gone through, but I'm gonna do my first little project. I have this air hose reel that you can mount with like U-bolts and stuff. You can see the hardware, the holes right there. But that's boring. I don't know if you can see it up there, barely up by the fan, there's the orange line. It is running from my air compressor around the top down to this pole that I'll show you in a second. This one right here where the air hose is wrapped around, I want to mount that hose reel to that pole. So instead of doing it the easy way, I'm gonna get an excuse to learn some more TIG. And we're gonna make a swivel mount for it that has a little pin lock on it. So I'm gonna get started on that. I've got a couple ideas and we gotta make it work. I have this piece of 3-inch exhaust pipe, and that pole right there is 4 1/4 outside diameter. So I'm gonna cut this weird like crinkly bit because it was a bend, I believe. I'm gonna cut this off and I'm gonna take a slice right out of this so I can stretch it over that pole. And I'm either gonna add to this pipe or I'm gonna mess with the original bracket so I can weld them together. And then I'm gonna put a cap on so it'll swivel around it, if that makes sense. If not, just watch. So here's what I was talking about with the pipe. I got the goofy bit cut off and I cut a strip right down it. So I'm gonna try to kind of straighten that out so I can get it to bend and fit over that tube, that concrete pole. And then I'm gonna have to put a cap on it. Didn't take too much. I just used these 2 channel locks to pry it open and a hammer to actually shape it around this pole. We're looking pretty good. Obviously, it's real early, but now I need to figure out how to set the flat side of that right here and weld it. So if I grab this, obviously, there's a little bit of a gap that I'm gonna have to fill. So I might just bend, like weld that there. Sorry, I'm one-handed this. Weld that there and roll this wing in. That might work. Got a little rough idea here. Obviously, this part goes around the pipe, and then we got these 2 little wings that I'm gonna tack top and bottom and then close this gap when I can. And this guy, either side of the base, will weld to these 2 flange thingies right here, and it'll fit over that pipe, and it'll kind of be a good swivel. This is very crude, fairly rough, but I think it'll work. So I'm gonna get to tacking these and actually welding them too, probably. Here we have something so far. I straightened the angle of these tabs a little bit better, and don't look too close to the welds. Like I said, I'm learning. This is my first like TIG project, but this is the first side, and it's not the worst thing ever. Definitely had better when I was in school actually doing TIG and stuff, but I'll take it for the first like what, week, not even. And then this side I ran plenty hot, but I mean, they'll both hold. They're not like showroom quality. Certainly not customer quality, but they will hold, and that's what matters. We're no Michelin star chef, but we're cooking up something in the kitchen. Look at this guy, we got it all welded up. Now, they're not the best, but they're not terrible. I mean, some spots are better than others. Across the whole thing, I'm actually pretty happy with this area, this little section here. Like I said, definitely no Gordon Ramsays. I'm getting up there. The sucker's about daggum perfect. Haven't tested the hose, so I don't know if it even works. But we got this Johnny painted up. Matches, looks good. I mess with it. For a quick garage project. It'll reach all the way to that daggum wall, so it's got plenty of hose on it. It's pretty sick. I've already got my next little project figured out. It's the next day after doing my hose reel over here. And as you can see, I have a big blue tarp on the ground. So what I'm gonna do is take this piece of bar, those 3 pieces of bar that I just bought today, and I'm gonna make some spark dividers. So this is how tall this first one's gonna be. It's 14 inches. It's gonna basically be the same as the edge of this desk here, workbench, and it's gonna go up about that tall, and it's gonna run straight across all the way over there. And I'll probably put sheet steel on it, which would be that stuff over there, which will give me a good chance to use my new torches. But anyhow, it's gonna be that wide by about this tall, so it's gonna protect the welder from grinder sparks and stuff. And then I want to use this blue tarp. I want to make a curtain for the toolboxes and stuff, because I really don't like the idea of peppering really nice toolboxes, and it'll protect the stuff under the loft behind it and whatnot, which I do worry about a little bit. Got my 4 main pieces out here cut for the frame. That's gonna go right there, obviously. So I'm going to fit that up. I got a little right angle magnet and stuff. I'm gonna fit that up, tack it, see how it looks in place. Here's the idea we were going for. Obviously there's nothing in the middle. The frame is kind of mocked up. I gotta weld it full out though. Boom, got my little divider thing done. And of course I had to tag it I don't know if you even want to call that a tag, but I don't know. I think it's cool. I might put some hooks or some shelves or something on it eventually for like some of this stuff. Oh no, I gotta tuck fast so I can put like grinder wheels and stuff on it, but for now, I just wanted to protect the welder, and it's gonna do that great. I've never built a resonator before, but I'd like to learn how. So I got this big old piece of pipe, and I'm gonna figure it out. So there's a few different kinds of, well actually, to start off, I don't know if this is gonna be a resonator or a muffler or technical terms, but I'm gonna take this piece as the outer housing, this piece, which is a little bit smaller, as the inner housing, and I'm gonna put a bunch of like rifling and stuff, or baffling, whatever you wanna call it. I guess it wouldn't be rifling, because rifling is like this. And I'm gonna do score marks and cuts and bends. And then I'm gonna pack it, and I'm gonna see if it actually works, because if it does, that'd be pretty sick. So like I said, I got these two pieces of pipe here, and the first thing I'm gonna do is figure out how long I want the actual like resonator or muffler part to be. And this is gonna be plenty big, so I think I'm gonna cut it, maybe in half or so. I think this is a 2-foot section. If I did a 1-foot resonator, I think that would be pretty much perfect. And I've never done this before, so we're gonna figure it out as we go. We're gonna start off with what's easy. Measure this Johnny out, make a couple cut marks on it. We'll use green because we're feeling special. So like I said, this is just under 2 foot. It's pretty much 2 foot, might as well be. I'm thinking a 12-inch section would be just about perfect for what I'm going for, a good tester. So we'll make a couple of marks, and then we're gonna go ahead and trim around the whole thing so it's cut in half. I got quite the edge to clean up, but it'll do, that's for sure. All right, we've got our 3 main pieces done. Least to big, smallest to biggest. We have our V-band clamp, which is how I connect it to my truck. That's how I can switch out the mufflers pretty much on the fly. Anyhow, we got our V-band clamp. We've got our interior pipe, which will weld to the V-band clamp and whatever exhaust tip or whatever we decide. And this is what's gonna get the slashes in it, which is what we're gonna work on next. And then of course the outer housing. So this housing is 12 inches and the actual length of the interior tube is 16. So I'll give us a couple inches on either side to play with. But right now I'm gonna figure out an idea on how I want to cut these, which I have a couple thoughts in my mind, but we're gonna get them for sure and marked out on the pipe. I've got some lines marked out on here that are gonna be my, my cuts, I guess. So I want them to kind of go zigzag. So I've got thirds. There's gonna be 3 sets of cuts, or three rows, I guess. And I want them to be somewhat diagonal. So this is a little bit crude, I guess you could say. So we're gonna mark out our first line for these to be cut on. Boom. Now we've got 2 more of those to do. All right, I put in some marker time and I got this whole thing figured out, which it might look like a bunch of hoopla, but right here, this green line is the edge of the like outer pipe. It's on both sides, so there's 2 inches of dead space, top and bottom. And then these squiggles are spots that I'm not gonna mess with. I might end up drilling some holes in them. I don't know for sure. Depends on how it turns out, I guess, if that makes sense. And then here are my channels that I'm actually gonna be cutting and then bending in. These red lines are what I'm gonna cut, and then this is how wide it's gonna be. So it works out in my head, even though it might not look perfect in my hands, but this is what needs to know what's going on, and we've got that figured out. Figured it might not be a bad idea to put some earplugs in, so I'm sorry if I'm yelling at you. But here's what we got. You can kind of see all these cuts. I don't know if you can see them through the inside a little bit, just the light going through. These red marks are the side that I'm gonna hit with the hammer and the chisel, or the punch, I guess, because I want the flow to be grabbed, because I want it to grab as much air as possible. So they all have to be the same. But anyhow, I don't know if it's gonna work, like I said a million times, but I'm gonna give it a go. Boom, just like that, we did some hammer spanking. Look at this, dude. It's not perfect, but it's cool looking. So this side is like the air is gonna come from the engine and go through here, and you can see it's got these like scoop channels because I want it to grab the air. And then this side, it's an easy flow. This is gonna be coming out. And you could reverse this, probably get more sound, but I kinda wanted to dumb it down a little bit. So it's gonna work perfect. I've gotta get the figuring out on some plate so I can make the end caps for these, and then pretty much just weld it all together. This might get wested. I used this cut off piece of pipe to make those holes. Actually, I used a hole saw, which you saw me about get taken out with. But I set this over top, spray painted around it, and now I have the perfect mark out for what I have to cut. Right here, we've got all the raw parts. Obviously the inner tube, the outer shell, the 2 end caps, and the V-band clamp for the truck. I have not decided yet what I'm gonna do for a tip, because it's not just gonna come straight out of that. It's probably gonna have a 90 turn down or something on it. But for now, I wanna get this welded up and see what it's gonna look like. So I've gotta get this whole workbench cleaned up, or I'd like to. I guess I don't have to, but I'd like to. And then I can turn the welder on and get the welding. We're cooking, all right? We've got one side welded up, and I'm about ready to put the packing in, but I figured I'd show you it. The other side I'm gonna weld different. I wanted to burn this in, kind of go like a factory look, but I don't like how those welds turned out. So I'm gonna do like how I like to weld up here. If that makes sense, just because I was trying out different styles. But this side is looking pretty cool. I don't know, that's it so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and shove some packing in there, load the thing up, and then weld the other side. We got her all packed for my brother, and it's gonna be pretty sick. I have absolutely no idea what kind of sound to expect, but I'm stoked either way. We got the main shell all welded up. Now I have to put the V-band clamp on in whatever 90 or whatever I decide, but woo, that's hot. But let's look at these welds. Yeah, boy, that's hot. That's hot, hot. Take that. Actually, it's kind of cold. The weld itself is kind of cold, but it looks hot. Focus, there we go. I mess with it heavy. We're gonna see what this Johnny sounds like. And you best believe I'm getting a fun video too.